Frank beats up the motel manager and then like hops on a bus and goes to a payphone and is like, I need to figure out a place to stay because the people that kidnapped me know where this motel is, and maybe they're going to try to come kill me or something. And so who does Frank call?
The girl that he had a one-night stand with and barely knows.
I literally wrote in my notes, all caps, the hookup he barely knows.
Yeah, I put the same thing in my notes. I'm like, they barely know each other, and you're just like, not to mention like you barely know her, and like you're like expecting her to like take you in, but it's also like you're trauma dumping like what you're going through on this random girl.
Frank asks Johnny like, hey, I've run into some trouble. Some guys are after me. They want to come kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Can I shack up at your apartment for a while and lay low?
Yep.
And Johnny's just like, yeah, dude, I've met one time. Like, come live with me.
Yeah. Which is like, that's kind until later.
And then the line, you had this in your notes too, but the line, because Frank offers to pay for the apartment, and the line that Johnny drops is, I'm not going to take your money. We're friends. And buddies.
God,
it's just the worst,
so weird.
The worst dialogue.
Yeah.
We're intercutting between Dr. Jane 18 months later and then Frank Kitchen in the past. And this is where the narrator switches over. And so Frank is at a new hotel, whips out his phone and starts recording a video diary for very weird reasons. He's like, I'm sending this video to my lawyer. Maybe I just need to confess my sins.
This is a therapy session for me.
This is just like therapy. I'm going to sit here and talk to the camera and narrate everything that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So Frank is telling his own story. Mm-hmm. And this is where we get the best performance and dialogue of the entire movie.
Yeah, I feel like the accent is stronger
in the video diaries.
Than anywhere else.
Suddenly, Michelle Rodriguez decides to put on like a bad Tony Soprano impression.
Yeah.
And ends up sounding exactly like Prison Mike from The Office.
The belle of the ball.
One of the first lines we hear from Frank Kitchen to his video diary is he points a gun awkwardly at the camera.
Oh my God.
As if he's like a gangster flexing on Instagram, like points the gun awkwardly at the camera and says,
if there was anything left of Frank Kitchen, it was his point blank aim. And I couldn't wait to use it. The Dementors!
It'd be one thing if like Frank Kitchen was saying this to like a bad guy or whatever,
but he's alone in a hotel room.
Just like in front of a fucking laptop camera. Like, what are we doing?
Frank finds a list of people on Honest John's payroll and he's like, I'm hunting down Honest John.
That sounds like, sorry, the way you said that was like he was searching Angie's list. It's Honest John's.
She finds a list of people on Honest John's payroll to kill so that she can get revenge and hopefully work her way to killing Honest John and then eventually Dr. Jane. Mm-hmm. So I want to just point out one of the weirdest details of this movie is the way that they transition between scenes with this awkward cartoon freeze frame effect. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, they do like these like still shots that turn into like a cell shaded like comic. It looks like a graphic novel.
Yeah, it would work for Scott Pilgrim,
Kick-Ass.
Yeah,
Watchmen, something like
Sky
that.
High, Disney Channel, or
classic
Disney movie.
Yeah,
but not for this. And the execution on these illustrations is so poor that it's like I think it looks like they took fan art of like The Assignment, and we're like
all the fan art for The Assignment.
I think Matt Walsh did the illustrations. Yeah. Then we cut to there's a sequence of Frank killing a bunch of Honest John's henchmen and associates. So just going from house to house, just blowing them away.
Montage, but it's not like, again, this is like an action movie, but we don't see any of the action. It's just like that one montage where we're just walking up, boom, boom. Like the action is like, it feels like such an afterthought, even though it also seems like that's the main thing this movie wants to be. It's so like off balance.
Yeah. It's very weird because then we go from this very heightened, like action-packed momentum of him going and killing all these henchmen to just buying a dog.
Yeah. Okay. So the buying the dog thing, I put this in my notes because I was confused about it. So he's like on the trail of finding Honest John to like figure out who the doctor was to get revenge, and like I guess is there like a one of the Honest John's guys that Frank kills that has a dog? Like what was that about?
I don't That's not established in the film. I think
Okay.
genuinely Frank just takes a break to buy a puppy.
Okay, that's so much worse than I thought it was.
I'm pretty positive
because spoiler alert, 3 scenes later he gets rid of the dog. Like what are we like what?
I think it's just a weird like trying to humanize Frank moment because
I guess
Frank and his video diaries.
It's so artificial.
Frank looks into the camera and says, "A dog is the only thing I ever trusted. A dog is the only thing I ever trusted."
Yeah, over here, come on.
Come on.
I love that dog.
I love dogs.
It's
Dogs
like,
are the
okay,
best.
I mean, I guess, but why even have the dog if you're just going to get rid of it? Anyway,
I have
we can move on.
I have no idea.